everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Korok Seed Master Mode Challenge. Apologize that this video is going up a little bit later. I was working on filming the video, and the Zelda Dungeon website, which I use as a reference, crashed, and that was not fun. But after it came back around, we wrapped up the recording, and so here we are, ready to track down another 20 seeds. So let's jump into it. So the first seed on our roster, or seed 581 of our overall adventure, is going to be a little time trial here. And this one is probably done a little bit easier if you're playing the game traditionally and building up your stamina and other things. But with the Whistle Run exploit, we can make our way across this bridge with relative ease and get up to the little spire here that the time trial is on top of. You do just want to take a moment and knock out the bokoblins on those platforms on either side of this bridge, and that will make life a lot simpler for you, to say the least. So we'll interact with this ring, and then we will actually need to backtrack back across this bridge for the next couple of seeds we're looking at here. But this gets us well on our way, as at the end of today's episode, we will be at the 2/3 completion mark, so a pretty big milestone there. Seed number 582, like I said, is back on the other side of the bridge. You probably even noticed this spire as we ran right past it. There's a little rock sitting on the top of it that you can lift off the top and grab the seed from this little guy here. And we actually managed to avoid the Stallmoblin and Bokoblin hanging out down just below as well. Drop the rock back down on top of this guy, and then we can glide our way back to the underside of this bridge, where you'll see that there is a little acorn hanging off of a tree. I'd been overcompensating some of my shots with the bow from previous tasks that I was doing, so shot a little bit higher on that, but we nailed it on the second shot, and that is what we needed for that one. Seed number 584 is another one of my favorite puzzles, where we roll a boulder down a hill towards an opening, and a lot of these actually roll themselves into position. This one was rolling pretty slow, and I had a suspicion that it was going to come to a resting stop before actually making its way into the pit down there at the end, and yeah, it's rocked back and lost all of its forward momentum, so we'll need to go give it an additional nudge to get it into place. So let's drop in and scoot this guy into the hole in question. And since we're on the downhill slope, it's pretty simple to do, which will allow us to continue right along down our path to collect seed number 585. And this one, I was a little bit concerned about it because we're again working under the conditions of a thunderstorm, and I thought that it had gone into place there, but it turns out that it got crimped over and disconnected from the magnesis due to some resistance. But one brief adjustment afterwards, and we've got it right into place where it needs to be. So no worries there. We now can move on to seed number 586, which is going to be another one of our time trials. And this one I thought, maybe you can get this taken care of without the need of running or extra stamina, but I did realize partway through that it was a little more needed than I was initially thinking. So just after we get off to the top of this peak here, we do go ahead and transition over to the whistle run animation, as I realized we were just way too far away. I also heard a swarm of geese behind us, and that was mildly terrifying, especially when you see that right as soon as I interact with it, they all fly right over my shoulders while I'm in the invulnerability state. So yeah, that's never fun when the geese hunt you down in a large swarm like that. Seed number 587 is actually going to be over closer to our original point of origin, and we need to climb up on the top of these, I think they're stone mushroom type structures, but I'm not entirely certain. Anyway, there is a pattern of flowers that we'll need to start on one of these higher pillars. Grab the 2 flowers there, glide down to this lower platform, grab the flower, and then over to one smaller pillar, grab the one from here, and then you just saw the particle effects of the final flower placement, which is down underneath this last area. And we actually landed right on top of the area where the guy popped up as well. So we can collect that and then take a brief stroll over to this little pond here, where you'll see there's a circle of lily pads. And I don't know what happened. Apparently you need to jump in these from a very specific angle or something, or there's a very certain way they wanted you to do it, because You saw, I landed right in the middle of, or within the inner ring of that lily pad, more so than that second jump on the first time around. And it was indeed the second one that granted me the seed, which I thought was very odd. Seed number 589 is going to be another time trial. This one, pretty straightforward. We just need to make our way over to this smaller tower and then climb our way up to the top. I generally don't use a whole lot of stamina, but since it was short enough to the point where I was confident we could get to the top with jumping, we went ahead and did that as well. Now, one thing that I tend to forget about a little bit is there are other objectives in this game that you can do. I am just choosing to ignore them based off of the nature of the challenge. So it definitely caught me off guard when the Thunder Plateau Shrine quest cropped up. And even though we're not paying it any attention, it did catch me off guard, and we will be ignoring that for the foreseeable future. But atop this little pillar here, we will find a circle puzzle for our rocks, which we will need to grab. This one is actually comprised of 3 different rocks that need to be moved into formation. Now, I wasn't certain on that one because I thought it might have been a little too far out of line, though I do know that the area in which the rock needs to be placed is pretty forgiving. But we went ahead and realigned it, get this second one into place. That one should be marginally a bit acceptable, even in its current location and positioning. And then that one's right about where it needs to be as well. So we can count this one as claimed, tick that off of our list, and move right on along to seed number 591 of our overall adventure here. This involves a brief little glide down off the platform we were just at, and you are now seeing the fairy lights materializing there in the background. So we'll do a little bit of whistle running to catch up with those and grab this seed as well, which those are some of my favorites to track down, even though they are very simple. Seed number 592 is going to be a set of a bombable wall that we'll need to take down, and then we will lift the rock down off the bottom portion here. And I was a little concerned about tossing the bomb due to the thunder and wind that's going on. That's where I made the decision to walk up and drop the bomb down next to it instead of tossing it like I tend to normally. We now climb up to the top of a peak where there is substantially better weather and grab the seed from this little guy here before dropping the rock back down on his head and proceeding just down off the side of this cliff to a little waterfall area where we will find our next little seed to grab. Same type of puzzle, same mountain even. We just lift this rock up off of the little buddy hanging out underneath it, claim the seed, drop the rock back down on top of him, and progress on to the next area. Now, this next seed is actually at or near the foot race check-in, and because of the positioning of that acorn, you see that I'm back to resorting to tossing a bomb and detonating it there instead of shooting it with an arrow. Both work, as the end objective is make sure that you have the acorn destroyed. Seed number 596 is actually pretty close to a seed that we picked up in last week's video, so backtracking a little bit to the top of this dead tree where we can interact with these fairy lights and claim ourselves yet another seed for our collection. And at this stage, we probably have enough seeds to expand out our inventory, but that's not what we're here for. So seed number 597 is going to be another set of, or another pair of a bombable wall we'll need to take down. There is a rock hanging out underneath it, which we'll lift up off the top of this guy's head. And this is about the point where I ran into issue or troubles with the website. So a lot of this was recorded after the fact as well, with a little bit of an extended break in between. Seed number 598, it said it was underneath a rock, but it's not underneath that stone talus. So we are going to hightail it out of there and avoid that guy. Not that I can't take him down, as I probably could if I really focused on it, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to pick up this seed from this Korok here, offer him some shelter from the massive, scary rock monster looming there in the background, and speedily make a retreat to safer area and more secure ground. We'll then drop all the way down into this crevasse for the next seed, which is the second to last seed of today's video, and that is going to involve this little magnesis puzzle where the block in question is sitting right at the base of the structure it needs to be placed onto. You'll just need to position it up on the top bit here where it will then slide and click right into place naturally where it is meant to be. And then we can progress even further down into this ravine for one final seed, which is going to be a circle puzzle that we need to complete by moving this rock from these bushes to the formation down here at the bottom. And you do see that there were a couple of Stalmoblins that had cropped up that we needed to defeat before doing so. But with that, that is going to be our final rock placement and seed collection for today's video. That brings us to the 2/3 completion mark, and we've got 300 seeds left in this challenge for our adventure. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more daily videos, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.